You should follow the DIGITALIUM group on LinkedIn just to stay updated. And right about now, talking about the power of LinkedIn, please welcome Goldie Chan.
She is a top LinkedIn video creator, global keynote speaker, and digital strategist. Her video channel won LinkedIn Top Voice and was the longest running daily show on the LinkedIn platform with over 5 million views. She was named as the Oprah of LinkedIn by Huffington Post. And she's a proud member of the Producers Guild of America, New Media Council, and Stanford University graduate. Please give a big welcome to Goldie Chan.
I realize I totally don't have my clicker. Can I grab a clicker? All right, guys, let's try that confident walk on again, pretending that there's music. Woo! It is so amazing to be here, to be in Romania. And I just learned a Romanian word. I believe it's da, which means yes. Is that right? So because I want us to get our energy up a little bit, you're going to repeat the most simple Romanian word I know back to me, and we're going to do it with a clap, all right? I'm going to count down. 3, 2, 1. Da! Guys, you can do it better. Ready? 3, 2, 1. There we go. Today I'm going to talk about LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is my absolute favorite platform. And as people who are involved, hopefully in a legitimate business of some sort, you also love LinkedIn. So let's talk about the power of LinkedIn. It's one of my favorite quotes from the CEO of LinkedIn, and it starts with vision and the clarity of vision. Now, what does this mean? When you are starting to think about any platform, it's incredibly important to think about why you are creating content on that platform. Not just LinkedIn, of course, but also Instagram, which you just heard about, of course, Twitter, and all the other platforms. We need to be incredibly clear about why we are creating content and why we have a strategy in place. Very quickly, this is a little bit about me. I have also visited more LinkedIn locations around the globe than I previously thought humanly possible, but I am a LinkedIn fangirl for sure. So I am a LinkedIn Top Voice. Now, this is an award that LinkedIn gives internally to less than 0.00008% of the entire LinkedIn platform. So you are more likely to get hit by a falling 747 than you are to get LinkedIn Top Voice. Now, one of the things that I've gotten it for is, of course, social media, and I'll go into some examples in a little bit. I also have founded Warm Robots, which is a social strategy agency in sunny, beautiful, amazing Los Angeles, which is where I live. I also write for Forbes, and if you are also a nerd, who in here is a nerd? Raise your hand. That's right, 5 people in the audience. Great. I love talking about branding and marketing and understanding how we can better tell stories, once again, on any platform. And I love doing it, of course, through Forbes. And I currently just stopped doing daily videos, but I had the longest running daily channel on LinkedIn with over 730 daily videos, consecutive, never stopped, over 5 million views. I think right now I'm at 5.5 as of today. And I partner with all these amazing companies like Adobe, like Microsoft, like London and Partners to help them understand their strategy better. So we're going to go into a very easy breakdown of why LinkedIn. Why LinkedIn video? We're going to get into some active case studies. We're going to do best practices. And because I always wanted to be a middle school teacher, I'm going to give you homework. So LinkedIn. Now LinkedIn, there are over 575 million users. And I think as of today, it is closer to 580 million users on the platform. So close to 600 million. And 70% of these are not in the US. So if you are, which all of you are, not based in the United States, it is a deeply relevant platform. And almost half use the platform daily. And a little over half also access LinkedIn on their mobile device. And we'll get a little bit into this a little later when we talk about optimizing content. And it is the most used social media platform by Fortune 500 companies. Why is this important? Well, who in here would love to get more clients? Right? Or who in here would just love to get more money? Bam! Okay, pretty much everyone in this room. And in fact, we're going to talk a little bit about why LinkedIn is so powerful for that, because there are so many people on LinkedIn who hold the purse strings. There are people with money on LinkedIn. And this is good to know, because these same people might be on other platforms, but they're not looking to necessarily give you their business on other platforms. But on LinkedIn, they are looking to make those purchasing decisions. In fact, there are over 61 million senior level influencers. These people are the people who are making the decisions about who they give money to in their company. So this is great for both if you are doing B2B work or B2C work. It really doesn't matter, because both of those types of people exist on LinkedIn. And once again, the purchasing power on LinkedIn is what is so exciting. Okay, so why video? Well, I am just a huge video fan. I love video. I think video exists on almost every single social media platform now because video is so important. And by 2020, aka next year, there will be more than 80% of all consumer traffic will be video content. So, think about that. That's nearly 100% of everyone on the internet has consumed a video. Who here has watched a video on the internet? Why is nobody? Everybody raise your hand. All right, let's get that cardio in. Great. So every single person in this room has watched a video, and you have watched a video on the internet. And I think this is fascinating, over 80% of users can recall a video ad that they viewed in the last 30 days. So in a month, we forget so many things, but we do not forget that really irritating jingle from our favorite ad, because it's video. This is a quote from another LinkedIn top voice who I absolutely adore. Please follow him on LinkedIn. His name is Alan Gannett. I always misspell his name because there are 2 N's and 2 T's, but I think I got it right this time. That's anytime you see a new platform emerge, there's usually a lot of opportunity very early on. So LinkedIn is not a new platform. So many of us have been on LinkedIn probably forever, and we don't think about new ways to use LinkedIn. And I will say, when I started doing video in 2017, I had roughly 2,000 connections. And these were people that I was either connected through school or my previous work. And now I have close to 55,000 followers on LinkedIn who are deeply engaged. And over 2 years, I was able to grow my numbers that much because I saw an opportunity. And that opportunity is, and write this down, LinkedIn video. That opportunity is understanding that now you can create organic content on LinkedIn and you can still have reach. You can still reach your audiences without putting down that cash. Because let's be honest, on so many other platforms, I'm not going to call you out, cough, Facebook, you have to pay to play. And on LinkedIn, you can still reach your audiences without paying money. Now, I keep talking about money because it is so important to understand that you can reach the kind of audiences you want on LinkedIn right now using organic content strategy. You can reach the audiences that have money to pay you. So then you can take that money and then spend it on ads on Facebook, right? Or spend it on ads on other platforms. But everything is an ecosystem. Now I'm going to show you this completely made-up graph about active LinkedIn video creators. And I say completely made up because I have had press quote me on this and say it is factual, it is facts that I pulled out of my own head. I have been deeply involved with creating the creator community on LinkedIn from scratch. There's a reason why they call me Oprah, right? I am passionate about helping other people create content. And in fact, if you ever want to watch an amazing course that literally exists on LinkedIn, watch either my LinkedIn video course or my online community building course on LinkedIn. You never have to leave LinkedIn. So for this graph that I once again completely made up, in August of 2017, which is when the beta launched, there was pretty much 0 people really creating video content because the feature did not exist. Pretty accurate. And then as we kind of went into maybe February of this year, we have roughly 300 people who are active video creators. I want you guys to think back to a few slides ago. 300 out of 575 million. Is there opportunity there? Yes. And I would say that today there's maybe, and this is being incredibly generous, a couple thousand very active creators. Once again, 2,000 out of 575 million? That is crazy. There are so few active creators for how big the platform is. Now, right now, you still can't really schedule video content, especially onto a personal profile page. You can do it onto a brand page, but you have to use certain software that allows you to do that. That is enterprise solution and quite expensive. So I always tell people upload natively first. Now, I know this is an odd concept when we have so many platforms now that integrate really fully with all of our scheduling tools. But on LinkedIn, it's all about uploading natively. So for myself, to grow my own channel, for the last 735 days, I have uploaded natively every single day onto the platform. And there's something to be said for consistency, which I will get into a little bit later. Now, this also includes LinkedIn Live. So I'm going to give you a present. Is everybody ready? Take out your phones. This is the present. This is the incredibly long URL. If you would like to get into the LinkedIn Live beta, go to this URL and apply to get into the beta. Now, the beta is still very exclusive. There are very few people who can live stream on LinkedIn, and you need third-party software to do so. But with LinkedIn Live, just like with new features on other platforms, they are prioritizing it in the feed. So if you can get into LinkedIn Live and do live streaming on the platform, your content will get seen, your brand will get seen. You will make some serious money. And this is, once again, closed beta. It's been active for about 6 months now. So this is such a new product. And the best part is you can, of course, live stream across LinkedIn and then also send that stream to other platforms. So it's all about thinking, how can we maximize what we're doing on LinkedIn to get that reach, that beautiful higher level audience, but also how can we share that content to other places? We're going to get into 4 ways LinkedIn video is very useful for marketers. Here are the 4 ways, and we're going to go into examples for each of them with big brands that I've worked with. We're going to think about brand awareness, number 1, for B2B companies. We're going to also think about amplifying your product launch for B2C companies. We're going to think about thought leadership. And then we're going to think about a targeted series. So these are 4 different ways to effectively create content on LinkedIn in a way that gets you seen and elevates both your brand and, if you're pushing your personal brand, yourself. I always love to say this to every audience that I speak to. I kind of sneak in this slide, which is, if no one is listening to you, then you don't have a brand. Again, for those in the back, if no one cares, if no one listens, then you don't have an active brand. So let's talk then more about brand awareness. So one great way to leverage LinkedIn is, of course, B2B marketing. So we're going to create brand awareness for B2B companies using LinkedIn. And the main question I always want you to ask when you're thinking about B2B marketing is, who are we targeting? Because that will determine the kind of content that we create. So let's get into a B2B marketing example. I am a brand ambassador for Adobe, which is one of my favorite brands. Who here has heard of Adobe? Good, good. All of you keep purchasing. So Adobe is one of my favorite companies. In fact, I will say that, totally irrelevant, in college, one of the first things I ever bartered for, I ever traded for, was a copy of Photoshop in exchange for designing a band's cover. And I love Adobe, and I love their products. But when we think about Adobe, we think a lot of times B2C, and Adobe has many B2B products. So I actually serve as an ambassador for their enterprise-level solution products. I create videos for them. I host their live streams where we talk about incredibly technical subjects in B2B marketing that sometimes I don't always understand, which is why it's so great to be on a live stream learning more about it. And this is what you want to think about when you are creating content on LinkedIn. Number 1, how can we provide the most value in the way that's most useful? So when I talk to Adobe audiences, especially about their enterprise level solution products, a lot of times I don't want to go into the basics. I want to go into your very weird questions. So last time I did a live stream for Adobe, I got a question if the product would work with predicting agricultural storms. So storm data, would that work with this particular product? And it did, which is good. But I love knowing if things work very specifically. So when you are running things like live streams for B2B products on LinkedIn, you better really know your subject. So this was a pretty good example of using Adobe B2B and really understanding how we can leverage that on LinkedIn. Okay, next thing, for B2C, LinkedIn serves as a great place to amplify a product launch. Now, how is this different from what I just said? On B2B, it's brand awareness, just generally being aware that, say, Adobe exists. But B2C is knowing that, for example, Adobe is launching a particular product. That is the difference between B2B and B2C on LinkedIn. And it's specifically tailored for understanding how we can generate interest in a product, in a particular product over a defined period of time. So another brand that I worked with was Skype for content creators. Now, Skype is another product that maybe some of you have used before, and Skype released a sub-product which was being able to pull out essentially different streams out of their main product so you could edit better. Now, when I worked on this particular product, I created several explainer videos, and I launched with a hashtag. So let's get a little bit into hashtags on LinkedIn. It is nasty. And I don't mean and necessarily in a good way. So the way you hashtag spam on Instagram, who here has used more than 10 hashtags on an Instagram post? Yeah, I know all of you are guilty of that, okay? On the LinkedIn, you cannot get away with that. Why? Because it actually doesn't give you that reach, and because it looks junky. It looks like spam. So not only does that 10 hashtags not get you where you want to go, but now you look like you're putting spam to these high-value connections. So whenever we create content on LinkedIn, we want to make sure that we use no more than 5 hashtags. And in fact, 5 is a lot. So I would say try to never use more than 3 hashtags. Now, how do we know which kind of hashtags work best on LinkedIn? Well, we do research. So we type into our search bar, for example, hashtag digital marketing. And we see if there's other people creating content around that subject. Now, this is once again how LinkedIn is a little bit different than other ecosystems. You have to have other people creating content about that subject before you want to use that hashtag. Say you want to use a custom hashtag on LinkedIn. Now, that works fine too, but you should only really have one custom hashtag. Okay, so with this particular example, let's get back into Skype. This one turned out pretty well. It was actually one of their most liked Instagram pictures, was one I generated. But the most important part of this was it was a call to action within a specific amount of time. And that's what we want for B2C. Okay, now, thought leadership. At some point or another, if you have been on LinkedIn and you have created content, you have tried to do some form of thought leadership. And with thought leadership, I love to think about it in this one question. Who are you targeting? And I will give you the answers to this. Are you targeting your peers? Are you targeting employees? Are you targeting competitors? Are you targeting clients and customers? And it is important you know who you are targeting before you even start creating content. So I worked with Lego. Who here knows what Lego is? Yes, there's 5 hands in the air. I know all of you have, especially those of you who have children, you have stepped on one of these before. So with Lego, I created a video series around their internal leadership, and we focus on the idea of mentorship. So when you're thinking about creating content on LinkedIn, think about what is the theme, what is the focus of that content. Be incredibly focused with what you're creating. And so, of course, these videos were used as recruitment videos. They were used internally. They actually increased the involvement in their mentorship program. So this was a series of LinkedIn videos that were actually primarily used for their own LinkedIn network. That's another way to think about using LinkedIn. How can you get your company more involved? Okay, so creating a targeted series. This is the most popular kind of content on LinkedIn right now, which is having a subject focus and creating a video series or a series of articles around that subject. So I worked with London and Partners recently, and London and Partners is the Mayor of London's entrepreneurship office to create a video series on female entrepreneurs to encourage people to go to London and do more business in London. Once again, this was for thought leadership. So each piece was establishing that particular woman as a subject matter expert. Now, how do we become subject matter experts? We dominate a very specific set of keywords. So what is the keyword that you want to be known for the most? That is what you want to focus on when you're thinking about creating content on LinkedIn. So here are 5 really easy best practices for understanding how we can optimize campaigns on LinkedIn. Okay, 1, and I've said this multiple times, which is why I'll say it again. You're gonna target your audience carefully. You need to know who you are talking to before you try to talk to them. 2, be consistent. Like I said, I did daily video content for essentially over 2 years. 2 years of daily video content to get to the place where I absolutely dominate my keywords. Being consistent doesn't mean doing that, but being consistent, for example, means releasing a piece of content 1 day a week. If you think about that, that's 4 pieces of content. Everyone in this audience can create 4 pieces of content within 1 month. And letting your audience know that you will be releasing something new, say every Tuesday, helps grow your audience on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a very consistent audience. So your follower numbers are not going to shoot up and shoot down the same way that they do on other platforms. So how do we reward our consistent audience? With consistent content. I love this quote from my friend Sarah. When we're on LinkedIn, some of us are very tempted to be very salesy in a way that is incredibly irritating. So let's not. And I think Sarah's tweet is really a good example of this. Don't try to sell somebody within the first 10 minutes, within the first message. Just don't. Also, and I will say, I will edit one of these, I have gotten somebody who messaged me every 30 minutes for 5 days straight across every platform. That is insanity. Please don't do that. But Sarah's pretty good. Don't message every day. Message every other day if it's necessary. But also, if somebody doesn't respond to you, give it breathing room. Just don't try to sell so hard. Because when you try to sell so hard, you end up falling into one place, and that is the desperation zone, which we never want to be in. Okay, cross-platform strategy. When we are thinking about LinkedIn, and I've said this before, you want to create the kind of content on LinkedIn that you can repurpose for other places. So with LinkedIn, you have text, video, articles, and more. So you have several different kinds of ways to create content on LinkedIn. So every time I create, say, a short text blurb, an inspirational quote, I'm going to see if I can reuse that on Twitter. I'm going to see if I can reuse that on Instagram. Now, say I create beautiful, long-form, vertical content, I'm going to reuse that on IGTV. Or I create great horizontal content, then I'm going to reuse that maybe in an edited form on YouTube. So it's all about how you can maximize your content that you're putting on LinkedIn. But I will warn you, because everyone always mistakes this slide. If you take a YouTube video and drop it on LinkedIn, chances are, especially if it did very well on YouTube, it will do terribly on LinkedIn. And why is that? Because LinkedIn is a very different ecosystem than YouTube. So if you create something that looks like a viral video with a lot of action that's super fun, it will not hit, it will not do as well on LinkedIn because they want more of the kind of video that's very, what I call early YouTube, a vlog style video that is more informational than flashy. So also understanding the different types of content on LinkedIn will help you grow more. Okay, so of course, and I'm leaving time for Q&A, so get your questions ready. This is my homework for all of you. I know we don't like to do homework anymore, but all of us could use more homework. This is the homework. I want you to create one branded video or text post that accurately uses your keywords. For example, if you want to trend in agriculture, it should have the word agriculture in the post. Very simple. I want you to upload that video or write that text post, and I want you to tag me in it. Goldie Chan, the Oprah of LinkedIn. Tag me in it, say we became best friends at DIGITALIUM. I want to see it. And now you are leveraging the power of LinkedIn. I'm just waving at everyone now. Can you? So guys, I'm gonna force you, because I have to be this person, to take a picture with me. So everybody stand up out of your seats. Stand up, stand up. We're gonna take a picture together. Can you see me? Awesome. Okay, so if you have a question, I'd love you to actually queue up in the center here, right in the center area. Don't be shy. Please ask your questions. Man, this is a very shy audience. If you have questions about LinkedIn, queue up in the middle. And what I'm going to do is we're going to play catch. Now, this is a soft microphone. I used to be a shot put discus thrower in high school, but don't worry, I will throw it very gently. Okay, I'm going to throw it to the young man in the red jacket. You ready to catch?
This working?
Yes, so I always make people do this. So I'm going to give you a teaching moment right now. Whenever you have the mic, you should always say your first and last name and what you do for a living, but that should not be 5 sentences.
Hi, my name is Andre Peter, and I'm head of innovation at Creators Relief. We work in the financial sector in the United States. My question to you is, have you ever done LinkedIn or any kind of advertising in the financial sector or in any other taboo industries?
So I do 100% organic content on LinkedIn, but if you want somebody who's really great at LinkedIn ads, that's AJ Wilcox, who actually spoke here last year.
Follow him.
Yeah, please follow him.
Hi. Oh, sorry. I think you wake up everybody. My name is Lola. I'm an HR manager, and my question is how I'm working on employer branding. So all your presentation is about making your brand known, but also how do you attract people to your brand to work for you?
Okay, so very quick tip. The fastest way to start to grow your LinkedIn account is to think about who you already know. So, who did you go to school with? Who were your coworkers? And when you create your first piece of content, tag 3 to 5 of those people. Now, don't do this repeatedly. So this is the mistake most people make, is that they start tagging 20 people, 50 people, tag 3 to 5 people that it is relevant for, and that's how we start to get our content out into the feed. We tag friendly faces.
Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? You have to get in the center. Come on, guys, get up. I see people waving their hands.
Hi, my name is Raluca. I'm a digital marketing specialist at Bionics, and I have a quick question. Do you think that LinkedIn is becoming a bit like unprofessional, more like Facebook? Because I see a not so lovely trend in Romania that professional, let's say, people on LinkedIn are having like a non-professional language in some very professional posts. So do you think that LinkedIn is kind of, on a slip to become more too friendly, like on Facebook or Instagram?
So I love this question because the first piece of hate mail I ever got, and my friend printed it onto a t-shirt for me, was somebody who said, your posts are like Facebook on LinkedIn. Ironically, it was about a video where I talked about B2B marketing. So I find that very funny. But with LinkedIn, I always caution people with this, is that people who will hire you, people who have access to funds, they are watching you on LinkedIn. So you should always still be a professional. Think about who is watching you on LinkedIn. So the same kind of drunken photos that you post on Instagram and Facebook are not the kind of things that are appropriate for LinkedIn. And same thing with video content. Think twice about posting something that could get you fired, right?
Morning everyone. My name is Mihai Paraschiv. I'm working with SinfoPay, which is a fintech startup. Regarding startups, how well can startups get around LinkedIn? How can LinkedIn help startups?
Well, especially with startups, LinkedIn is such a great place because once again, you don't have to throw as high of a budget into LinkedIn to do organic content. So startups also with LinkedIn, I worked with one startup that leveraged LinkedIn to hire new employees. So they used LinkedIn to garner brand awareness around the fact that they existed at all and that they were hiring in a very specific part of the world. And so that's one really great way you can leverage LinkedIn as a startup. Yep.
Hello, my name is Renata, and I have a quick question. Do you think LinkedIn is relevant for NGOs, if you have experience with that, and if you could give us some examples?
Sure. With NGOs, it's a little bit complicated, right? So I have worked with some sectors that are a little bit harder to work with on LinkedIn because they are regulated more. So they are finance or healthcare, NGOs. You just have to be very careful about the kind of content that you put on there so that you're not violating any laws, right? So that's the first thing. Don't violate any laws with the content you put on LinkedIn. Very basic. Number two is that you want to make sure that you have very clear goals. Are you driving for donations? Are you trying to get more interest just in the NGO in general? What is the goal? And go very specifically for that goal. I will also say, this is a very special tip for all of you in the audience today. Do not put links in the body of your post on LinkedIn. It will make sure that your post is never seen. Okay? So what we want to do with links is we want to drop them as the first comment on our LinkedIn posts. And then we can put it in later, a day or two later, but never write content and put the link into the LinkedIn post. Any other questions? Are we good? Okay, guys, thank you so much and get on LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you so much, Goldie Chen. What an appearance. The girl with the red, it was green or blue? No, I should check her on LinkedIn. The girl with the green hair. Wow, 900, almost 1,000 digital freaks under the same roof. That's an image I would like to keep, you know? What if we take a selfie right now together? What do you think about this? All right, let's take a selfie, yeah? So when I count to 3, 1, 2, 3, I want you guys to raise up your smartphones with a torch on. Let me just do this. Wait. Like this, yes? Come on, be engaging, yes? Thank you. So I need you to raise up your phones with a torch on. I count to 3. We take a selfie, but we need the official photographer, Mr. Witzman. Please come here on the stage. Let's do an epic selfie with everybody in the house, with myself taking a selfie with a torch up. Everybody, please, do the cardio. Okay, looks nice. You should tag yourself afterwards, yeah? Okay, are we ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go! Woo! That was epic. And now let's turn off the torch. Let me just do this. I will tag each of you on Instagram. By the way, it's digitalium_.ro. You should follow our Instagram. Don't forget about the hashtag. We'll have some surprises later on today.